Okay, it's good to meet you all. I'm Michael White, and just put all this down. I understand that you're Mike. Hello, Mike.
Yeah.
I'm Michael.
Hi.
So it's good to meet you. And you're Vicky.
Right.
Okay.
Glad to meet you.
Glad to meet you, Vicky. And you're Don.
Dan.
Dan. Hello, Dan.
I'm
And
Debbie.
Pleased to meet you too.
Yeah, pleased to meet you too.
Okay. All right. I understand you know each other quite well.
Yeah.
Yeah, met David before. And I understand you understand what's happening here today. That,
Yes.
There's quite a large group of people that are observing this interview, and they're going to have various thoughts, and I guess ideally it'd be helpful for them all to share the thoughts with you, but there's a few too many.
Yes.
And so what's going to happen after I've been talking for maybe 40 minutes, 50 minutes, I'm going to invite some of my friends to come in and just share with you some of the thoughts that they've had. Okay? People usually find that a pretty helpful thing, so you get an extra view on the concerns that you have. Okay. So we'll do that in about 50 minutes' time or so, and then after they've gone out, they'll be here for about 15 minutes or so. I'm going to be interested to know what you thought about what they said.
Yes.
Okay. So be interested to know what comments you could connect with and so on. Okay. And then we'll stop and okay. All right. And David's told me a little bit about who you are. I understand, Mike, that you're 18. Is that correct?
And she's 12.
And your sister's 12?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know when your sister's birthday is?
What was it? 8 something? What?
May 20,
May 20.
May 20th. Okay.
77.
77.
I have 27.
Okay, so you're a bit more than just 12 already. Okay. And Mike, when's your birthday?
71. 8/8/71.
8/71. So you just turned 18 just recently?
18.
Okay.
My birthday was in August.
In August, was it? Okay. And I understand that, Debbie, you're 12, and are you living, where are you at the moment? I know that you're living away from home, is that correct? You're living,
I was living away from home, but I live in Fairfield now with my folks, and I attend Grange Middle School.
okay, so you're in the middle school at the moment.
Grange.
So what grade are you in?
7th.
Grade 7, are you? Okay. Fairview, did you say Fairview?
No, I said Grange Middle School.
Grange.
Grange Middle School.
It's
Did
in
you say you
Fairfield.
lived in Fairview? Or?
No, I said I lived in Fairfield.
Fairfield, okay, where's Fairfield?
Fairfield is right by Vacaville.
Well, that doesn't help me very much. Is that north or south or east of the city, San Francisco?
I don't know.
North.
I'm not sure where it is. Where is that? I'm not familiar.
We're
Northeast.
between Sacramento and San Francisco.
Sacramento and I know where Sacramento is. Okay, all right. And Don, I know that you're into construction.
Dan.
Dan. See it again.
D-A-N.
I've got Don fixed in my mind. You must remind me of somebody. You must look like a Don to me for some reason. Dan, you're in construction.
I'm a groundskeeper.
Groundskeeper?
Yes.
Okay. And what
Gardening.
Is this for a...
It's for Solano County.
Oh, okay, for the county.
Yes.
Okay. And how old are you, Dan?
50.
You're 50? Okay. And Vicky, I know that you've got something to do with security, is that?
Vanguard.
Yes, Vanguard Security of Sacramento.
And what do you do in this line of work?
Just make sure everything's secure. Walk around a lot.
Yeah. So you're situated in one place?
I move all over the place.
You move all over the place?
Right
so-
now, I'm sometimes in Fairfield, sometimes I'm...
Right, so if someone wants their premises guarded or something, they
Yeah.
call your company and... Okay, all right. And how old are you, Vicky?
45.
You're 45. Okay, all right. The other thing I know is that you came here on the BART today.
Yes.
Is that
BART.
correct? How was that?
It was kind of neat. We got to see the where the bridge, the Nimitz Freeway collapsed.
Yeah.
Yeah. The earthquake hit 7.1. What was it, 7.1?
Yes.
Yeah, it was a 7.1. It hit Nimitz Freeway, and they had to take out a section of it.
Yes, I heard that was very tragic, and I'd just been in San Francisco just prior to that.
And they also, the Bay Bridge hit, they hit the Bay Bridge, and part of it was it went down and it made the lower deck crack, and they found it. One of the guys, one of the firemen had found one of the guys underneath her, and they took her to a San Francisco hospital.
Yeah.
San Francisco General.
And did he survive?
I don't know. They all I know is that they had to take him to San Francisco General. They're having him on a machine. That's a
life support machine.
life support.
Life support machine.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's living at the moment. Okay, well I hope he does
But
well.
without it, he'd probably die.
Okay. All right. Can I just ask a couple of other questions before we talk about what you've come here about? When did you move back to live in the family home?
Right before school ended.
So when would that be? Would that be in June?
And she came home,
28th of June, wasn't it?
yeah, about the 28th of June.
Okay, so June. Okay, all right. I guess I'd like to know about, David's also filled me in on some details about certain things that have been a concern for you all. Since he's been involved, I understand that you met David in May this year.
Yes.
So you've been meeting with him over the past 5 months or so. Is that correct? 5 months? My maths is shocking.
I think it's been about 5 months.
That's
Yes.
5 months? Okay. I'm not much good at maths. It was never my thing at school, and I seem to be allergic to it. And, okay. And wondered if I could understand what, from you, what's the most immediate concern to you, the thing that is on your minds at the moment that would be most helpful for us to talk about.
Let's talk about what Deb does.
No.
Michael.
You'd like to talk about what Deb does? Okay, so
Yeah.
we've got one idea about what we should talk about here. Do we have other ideas as well? Do you know what Mike would like us to talk about, Deb?
Today,
Yeah.
probably, let me see, probably about, mostly about me, but I would like to talk about fire setting and what made him do it, made him
Right.
set all those fires.
So we have a second idea about what we should talk about today. You'd like to talk about what Deb does?
I like to talk about why she likes to always start an argument with me.
Okay, that's what you'd be most interested in talking about. And you'd be most interested in talking about Mike and about
Fire setting.
Fire setting?
Yeah, what he did when he was younger.
Sorry?
What he did when he was younger.
When he was younger?
Yeah, fire
would-
setting, he was around my age.
Okay, so that would be most interesting to you. What would be most interesting to the two of you? Dan, what would you be most interested in talking about?
Well, along the lines of the fire setting with Michael,
Right,
why
okay.
he why he might be inclined to that type of thing.
Okay, all right. Okay, so we have 2 for fire setting and one for what Deb does in terms of arguments. Okay.
She likes to do that a lot. Or she likes to start arguments with me.
Okay, and
my-
Vicky, what would you most like to talk about?
I think fire setting, as a matter of fact, I brought a picture of a house that Michael set fire to,
Yeah. yeah.
and I thought I'd show it to you.
Okay, all right. Thank you. I'll look at that in just a moment. So I just wondered whether we could maybe, we have 3 for fire setting and 1 for what Deb does. Just wondering if we can fit all of this in somehow today. How would that be? Would that be agreeable to you, Mike?
Yeah.
We could fit all of this in? Okay.
What I want to know is how long how long will this be? When will it end? Like,
15
what time will it be
minutes.
over?
15 minutes? It'll be a bit longer than that. We'll be sitting here for about another 40 minutes. Okay, and then what we're going to do is sit back a little bit, and my friends are going to come in and talk for a bit, maybe for about 10 or 15 minutes. Okay, and then when they go out, we'll talk for another 10 or 15 minutes. Okay.
Mike, I think I've seen you. I think I've seen you on one of the Channel 7 news programs. I think once for you was taking someone's place.
What did?
I think I see you take on the Channel 7 news.
On the Channel 7 News?
On one of the programs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw you on one of the programs talking about what happened in the earthquake thing.
Yeah, well, I did do a lot of talking with people about what happened in the earthquake thing, but I don't think any of it was on television.
I think I saw you once in one the 1989 89 earthquake. I saw you on
in this last earthquake?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think I saw you on that one when they were talking about the earthquake on Channel 7.
Well, I don't recall being videotaped when I was talking about the earthquake, but it might be the case. Maybe we could try and track that down. You could maybe tell me when that was.
I think it was when we were talking to people about what happened during the earthquake and how they survived it.
How they survived it?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, maybe I'll have to talk with lots of people around the place about the earthquake and how they survived it.
Mike, can you get Pete Giddings' autograph for me?
Can I get whose?
Can you get Pete Giddings' autograph for me?
I don't know who Pete Giddings is.
He's one of the news reporters.
One of the news reporters.
Channel 7 News. Can you get his autograph for me?
Well, if it was possible for me to get that for you, I would. If I come across him, I'll do that. But I'm not likely to meet him. But maybe someone else can organise that. What do you think, David?
Well, yeah, same thing, Mike. If I run into him, I'll...
And I want
I'll
Don
mention.
Sanchez autograph too.
Who's Don Sanchez?
One of the
Another
news reporters.
sportscaster.
Another sportscaster. Okay. Your mum's given me a picture here. Do you know what this picture is about?
Yeah, that happened
Could
when
you tell me about it? Just look at it and tell me about it.
it happened when I was about, how old was I? 10?
12.
You had just turned 12.
12, yeah.
Yeah.
And some kids down our street, we were riding our bikes down the street, and
Thanks.
yeah, and
Do you want me to have this?
no, it belongs to my mom. She's saving it for her. Anyway, what happened was we were riding down the street, and some kids that lived down our street. They got me in trouble.
Right.
They told me to set the house on fire. They threatened me. They said, this is what they said. They said, if you don't set this house on fire, we're going to kick your butt. That's what they said.
Right, okay.
They threatened me to do it.
Right, okay. And this was how long ago was this?
How long was it? How long ago
It
was it?
was Labor Day,
Labor Day.
1983.
1983.
So this
That
is
was
some years
September
ago.
5th.
September
Yeah.
5th.
Okay, all right. So is this something that you want to talk about? I guess you've talked a lot about this event over the past, 5 or 6 years?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you've done a lot of talking about this, I guess.
Yes.
And is this really what you'd most like to talk about here? I know that, Mike, you'd like me to talk about Debbie, but I understand that your mum and dad and Debbie would like me to talk about the fire lighting.
I'd like to talk about why she likes to start arguments with me.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll make a note of that, just so that I'm clear about what you'd like. Okay, about how Debbie...
And why like she always blames stuff for me that I don't even do. Like when I stole some candy, my mom had taken me and my sister to the store and we bought some candy, and my sister went and blamed me for stealing it when I didn't even do it.
Right, okay. So there's been a bit of a bit of conflict in your relationship with your sister.
I don't like when she
Have you
blames
noticed
stuff
this
on me.
too, Debbie, that there's been, do you know what I mean by conflict? That there's
Yeah,
been,
problems.
yeah, there's been problems in this relationship with Mark. Have you noticed that as well?
Yeah, but what I'm noticing mostly is that he takes stuff and he reverses it. Like stuff that's his fault, he reverses it to over us, makes it our fault, and he thinks that's the way it should be.
Right,
But if all he's gonna do is keep on blaming me for stuff that I don't even do,
right.
then I figure what's the point of me being there if he's gonna do that?
Okay, so this problem has really interfered in your relationship with Mark,
Yeah.
has it?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you say that this problem's interfered in your relationship with Debbie?
Yeah,
It has.
and
What effects has that had on your relationship, this problem? What's this problem been doing to your relationship, this conflict that you have, these disagreements that you have?
she thinks that
Could I just ask that question of Debbie, is that okay?
yeah.
What's happened to your relationship with Mike, Debbie, since this conflict has been here?
Well, one night I had over one of my friends
Yeah?
and from school, and on our way, because we were walking,
Yeah?
he ran into some of his stepdad's cousins
Yeah?
that were smoking, and we came back and I guess we were smelling a little bit like cigarettes or something, and my brother said, "Oh, Dad, they've been smoking," and which we weren't. And he just does stuff like that, and just aggravates me. Sometimes I just wish I could
So
belt him.
What effect has this had on you?
It just makes me real mad.
It makes you mad?
Yeah,
Okay, I'll
because-
write that down. What other effects does it have on you, Debbie? Makes you mad? Yeah?
Makes me angry.
Makes you angry? Yeah?
And he embarrasses
It's in-
me and my parents in front of our friends.
So it's embarrassing for you?
Yeah, and just makes me feel real uncomfortable.
Makes you feel uncomfortable?
Yeah,
Okay.
I just,
What happens when you get to feel real uncomfortable? What
I
actually
just-
happens?
I feel like hitting him.
You feel like hitting him at these times?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so it's pretty upsetting. What effect has this conflict had on you, Mike? What's it doing to you, this
Well,
conflict?
she thinks that she
Now, could I ask you what it's doing to you, how it's affecting you? I know that it's been upsetting to Debbie. Has it been upsetting to you as well?
I don't like what she does to me.
It's been upsetting, has it?
Yep.
Yeah.
She goes in my room.
What effect does it have, Mike? I mean, how does it affect you? I know that it's upsetting Debbie.
Well, it's upsetting to me because she leaves stuff in my room, and every when I come for weekends, I find stuff, food and silverware and drinks laying in my room.
Right.
And she forgets to bring them out.
And what effect does that have on you?
I get tired of her leaving stuff in my room.
Is it upsetting? So it's not pleasing to you, right?
I don't like
Okay.
when she leaves stuff in my room and doesn't.
You know, it's not
And she
pleasing.
makes me clean it up and clean up
Sure.
after her.
So is it upsetting to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And this morning,
And what else? What other? I mean, so far Debbie's told me that this problem that's been interfering in your relationship makes her mad and angry and embarrassed and uncomfortable, and I know that upsets you. What else does it do to you? This conflict between the two of you.
like when we went when we went to when we went to my mom's friend's wedding. It was up. Where was that at? Well, I think it was by
Trinity Center.
Trinity Center.
Yeah.
We there was like they had some people were getting married. They didn't have any place else to sit because people were taking up all the chairs, hogging up all the chairs, and they wouldn't let nobody else sit down. And then after that, we went to the reception, and there was hardly any place to sit. Some people had to sit, but there's no other places to sit. So that was kind of unfair because
Would you feel left out?
yeah, because
You felt left out,
because
okay.
other people got to sit down, we didn't. That's kind of unfair.
Other people didn't either.
Okay. So, yes, I understand, but I'm just trying to get some idea of what effect it's having on you. So, the problem's been what? Isolating you a bit? Do you know what that word means?
Yeah, being not part of the group.
Okay, it's been isolating to you.
And I don't...
What's it like when you feel isolated? What's that like? Do you feel miserable when you feel isolated?
Kind of.
Part of the group? You do?
Yeah, and you know what, when I'm over, you have to have staff watch you 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
That I don't think that should happen. They also use cuss words when they know it's not appropriate.
Right.
They
Okay.
let kids get a
What effect does that have on you?
I don't like the way staff cuss over there.
You don't like that?
They need to have their mouths washed out with soap.
Okay. So, you'd like to sort of protest against that in some way, would you?
Yeah, I feel like going on strike with them.
Going on strike?
Yeah, hold up a sign that says. I like to get a whole bunch of my friends from Fairfield and start making signs to say.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I feel like doing.
Okay, that sounds like a great idea. Is that your idea, or
Yes, it's my idea.
it's an idea that you came up with?
Start making signs to say.
Okay, so you reckon that it's time for you to go on strike. Where'd you get the idea from?
From watching people go on strike against food for less,
Right.
saying that people shouldn't shop there and stuff.
Okay, so that's where you got the idea from, and you thought this would be a good idea to use in a situation where some of the staff are cussing, and what else did you say?
They abuse you there. They deliver, like when somebody does something wrong, they throw the kids on the floor and they abuse them. They threaten you. They abuse people there.
Okay.
They
Can I just ask what your mum and
and
dad
I don't
whether
like
they've
it.
witnessed any of this?
That's why I feel like putting them on strike.
Right.
That's why I feel like going on strike.
Have you witnessed any of this abuse that Mike's referring to?
No.
Not over there, no.
You haven't
No, but they
witnessed
do it to other kids, and that's really unfair.
it? Okay, so it's not happening to you, but it's
No.
happening to other kids.
Yes, and those kids are my friends, and I hate.
Okay.
I don't like when they. I don't like when they. Well, I don't like the staff over there because they deliver it. They
Okay, so-
deliver it. They abuse you and they hurt you and stuff. And that's being unfair. That's not right.
So, this is
And
quite...
it even says it in the Bible. It says in the Ten Commandments, "Thou shalt not threaten. Thou shalt not be abused," and they're going against that.
This is quite disconcerting to me. David, have you witnessed any of these activities, or do you have any thoughts about what Mike's saying?
Yeah, it's fairly accurate what he's observing that does happen over
Yeah.
there. It's a state hospital, and
Yeah.
it's not as well staffed, and the staff aren't as well trained as they should be. And this is upsetting to Mike. He does witness these things. Sometimes it's well managed, but other times it's out of hand. So there's some real truth in there. Yes.
And when they take the kids on field trips, like when they go off grounds, they have to write your name down on paper. Like when you're with them, like if you get lost, they have to know where you are and stuff.
Right.
That's not fair, man.
Okay, all right.
I feel like
You
junk.
have a strong sense of what's fair and what isn't.
Yeah,
And you have a
that-
loyalty to your
That's
friends.
yes, and that's
Yeah.
why I feel like making signs and have people have a bunch of my friends go on strike.
What do you think of that idea, Debbie?
I feel that what they do over there, some of it is fair, but some of it is not. But I feel that, on the other hand, I feel that the only reason that they threaten the kids is some of them need to have that done to them so that
But they should
can-
not be.
Just hold on,
so
Mike,
that-
hold on.
they'll listen and they'll be good.
Right.
And-
Tell me, what do you think about Mike's idea of going on strike? Do you think
I
that's a
don't
good
think-
idea or not?
Yeah,
No,
I
don't.
think it is.
I don't think so. I don't think that it's going to work.
You
But
don't think it's going to work? Do you think
No.
it's a reasonable idea? It might not
No.
work, but you don't think it's a reasonable idea?
No, I think that since those kids over there, since they don't, most of them probably don't even treat him well, but he calls them his friends. I don't think that he should really get upset when they punish him, because the kids, he doesn't even know what happens after he goes to bed. The kids might come out and try to hit the staffs and stuff like that, and they probably have a darn good reason to sit on him.
Are you surprised to hear about Mike's loyalty to his friends? Did you know that he had loyalty to friends like this?
No, I didn't.
You didn't? That's a surprise?
No.
Hold on, Mike.
No, but I was.
It's not it is a surprise to you, or it's not a surprise
yeah,
to you?
it
It is
is.
a surprise to you.
But
Okay, that he could be a loyal person, that's a surprise
yeah,
to you.
yeah, but I was once in a psychiatric hospital,
Yeah?
and some of the kids used to do the same thing like what they do over there.
Yeah.
And Mike squalls and complains about them locking him in his room over there at that psychiatric hospital. It's probably even more locked down.
Right, okay.
And
right.
he thinks he's got it bad over there. They feed you food like toxic waste.
It is. The food over there tastes bad. They don't,
I don't think that it tastes as bad over there as it tastes over there at that place. It's in Sacramento.
Right, okay. So you've both experienced situations where you felt ill-treated by persons. I see you nodding, Dan. What do you know about this?
Well, I was just agreeing that Debbie, as she was in, and she told some things about how what they did with the kids there to keep them kind of in check.
Yeah. And what was your thought? What did you think about that, Dan?
Well, I think that, like Debbie was saying, I think some of it may have been deserved
Right.
on the part of the kids, and some of the treatment may be a little bit extreme,
Right.
but at times extreme things are needed
Okay.
to control a situation.
So you saw some extreme things as well?
Well, I've
You
heard about it.
Okay, right.
Yeah,
So
of course.
did you want to protest against this when you were there?
No, because it might have been more locked down, but it was easy to stay there because you were good and you got rewards. Like they
Right.
took you on walks to parks and stuff like that, and it was
Yeah.
actually kind of fun. I was there when I was about 8 or 9 years old.
Okay.
Did they take
Some
you
time
to?
ago.
Did they take you to the railroad museum?
No, but they took them on field trips, like on walks to the park,
Yeah.
and it was fun.
Okay. All right. What do you think about, you said you were a bit surprised to find that your brother was loyal to his friends?
Mm-hmm.
You are surprised to hear that? Okay.
I have two friends that live in Pittsburgh.
You have two friends in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, they live in
Okay.
Pittsburgh.
Okay. All right. Where did you get this idea about going on strike? Mike?
Because
Is that a recent idea?
yeah, because
It's a recent idea, is it?
yeah,
Okay.
because the reason why I feel like putting a protest against, because I don't think it's right that they should lock kids up behind locked facility, because my mom doesn't even like the idea locked facility.
Right.
That's why she's gonna get fired, and she's gonna take him off the case.
Could you tell me about this, Vicky?
I think Michael's kind of jumping the gun a little bit.
Yeah.
It is true.
I don't like the idea of him being locked up, because in the other placements and things, he wasn't locked up.
Right. Okay.
When he first got picked up, he was at Re-Ed West, and that's not a locked facility.
It's
That's in
unlocked.
Sacramento. He's been to Willow Creek
It's in Santa
Residential
Rosa.
in Santa Rosa. It wasn't a locked facility.
Santa Barbara,
And Santa Barbara.
Devereaux.
Right.
But the only ones he was ever locked up in was
Was
like first, Michael, let me talk. First hospital in Vallejo, and it was
Wasn't he
in the
locked up in-
Aldea program also, which was a non-locked facility. And I don't like the idea of him going to a locked facility when I know that he can live, the other way.
Okay, so in a way you're also protesting.
Right.
Protesting, okay.
Wasn't Mike
And-
locked up in juvenile hall too?
Well, yeah, but
That was his first
the
place.
thing about this is I just don't like the man's attitude, I
Right,
guess.
okay.
I guess that's what I'm protesting mostly about
Right.
because
And how are you making your protest known, Vicky?
I just talk to David all the time.
Okay, all right, so you're letting your protest be known through
But
David.
I just, I don't feel that it's fair when all the man does is look at Michael's records and he doesn't view him as a person. He just goes by the records and makes his judgment where he's going to send him and things like this.
He's dragging his feet. He's doing it purposely
So he's not seeing Mike.
Evidently, he isn't.
He's not seeing Mike at all. Mike's not visible to him. Okay,
I
is
think
that right?
David would know that more than I would.
You'd
He
agree
is
with that,
dragging-
David?
I would agree with that.
He's
Yeah.
dragging his feet deliberately to, you know.
I would like to see someone do something to find a placement for Michael because they're saying that he isn't, you know, he doesn't need to be anymore.
Right,
But, you know,
I've
if they're
been
going to do something, I want it to get done, you know,
okay.
so that he can be placed somewhere that he can live. somewhere else.
I've been
This-
there long enough, and I think it's time for me to get out of there.
Right, there are lots and lots of issues here, and obviously they're all issues that need to be addressed. Can I just ask a question, Mike? You reckon your mum said something about you being ready to get out of there or something? Is that correct? Do you know what your mum's talking about?
Yeah.
What is she talking about? What she noticed about you that tells her that you're ready?
Well, I know how to help my mom and dad make food, like
Sorry, you know how to
cook.
cook? Okay,
Yeah.
you know how to cook?
Yeah.
Yeah. What else tells her that you're ready to get out of that place? Can I write these down? Because this is
Yeah.
interesting for me to get a picture of who you are as a person right now.
And
So, cooking?
yeah, and like chores, like doing house chores and stuff.
Chores?
Like,
Okay. What's happening with chores?
Like feeding the dog food and water, getting her fresh water,
Right.
and cleaning up after the cats, like when they get sick or some, take care of them.
Cat box.
Yeah, clean the cat box,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
and
So you're getting good at sort of supervising your life? Is that
yes,
right?
yeah.
Okay. You've noticed this too, Vicky, that
I wouldn't go as far as to say supervising his life is concerned,
Yeah,
but
what
on
would
the
you say?
weekends,
what have you noticed?
we give him a certain amount of chores because Debbie keeps complaining that it's unfair that when he comes home that he doesn't have to do anything.
Right.
So we have given him the chores of feeding and watering the dog and the cats and
Yeah.
taking care of the cat box
Yeah.
and just little chores like that
I
around
have to
home.
do stuff like that and more around the house 5 days a week.
Okay. All right. And what do you like at chores?
Like chores?
Are you good at chores? Good at doing chores?
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I keep my room basically clean for
Right.
like either teens or preteen, whatever you call me, because I'm not actually a kid anymore.
Just
That's true. That's true. 12 years old, going on to 13. Yeah. Okay. All right. I guess I'd like to know a little bit more about what you've noticed about Mike in recent times that tells you that he's ready for another step. Dan, you might like to respond to that question.
Well, he can do things for himself if, some things he can do for himself on his own.
Yeah, like what sorts of things have you noticed recently, Dan?
He takes a shower
Right,
at
okay.
his own suggestion.
At his own suggestion?
yeah,
Okay, how long have you been taking a shower at your own suggestion?
like on the weekends.
On the weekends? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
About a month.
Wow.
He's been deciding when that he'll take a shower without having to be told by someone else. He keeps his room fairly straightened up.
Right. Okay.
He likes to help get dinner ready, or a meal, get a meal ready.
How's his cooking skills going?
I haven't tested him that much on
Has
it.
anyone tested yet?
He's cooked.
Not really.
In a couple of the programs he's been in, they
Yeah.
have share cooking, so he's done it in the programs.
I've done it. I've cooked at Devereaux. I've done it
Willow Creek.
Willow Creek, and in Fairfield, a group home called Aldea.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, the one I was at was in Fairfield. It's right down the street. It's called Dakota House.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
It's on 513 Dakota Street.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dan does most of the cooking around the house.
Does he? Okay.
But, well, that's because I work swing shift.
Okay.
But Michael is real good as far as setting the table is concerned, getting
Okay.
things ready.
So,
And Debbie helps too.
okay. Right. Have you noticed, Mike, that you're taking the initiative more? That you've
Yeah.
noticed that about yourself, have you? Okay. All right. I just want to catch up with you, Debbie. You mentioned that you're not a kid anymore. Is that correct?
Yeah, but my parents still consider me as a kid.
Well, what have you noticed about yourself that tells you that you're not a kid anymore?
Well, a few years back, I remember when my parents, even if my mom, she thought, I wonder why Debbie doesn't cook. My first night when I was home, I cooked a meal, but my dad didn't really like it, so I guess he just threw it in the microwave and turned it on, and it got burnt.
Oh dear. Yeah. That's bad luck.
Yeah, and
What have you been noticing recently about yourself that's helped you understand that you're not a kid anymore?
well,
What have you been noticing
When I was
about
a
what you've been
kid-
doing? Yeah, what are you doing
when I
that's
was a
different?
kid, I kept my room, all my toys everywhere.
Yeah.
And now I have different spots. My clothes may not be in my dresser all the time, but I have different spots
Right.
where they are at in my room.
Right.
Like a spot here and then there.
You
and
mean
then
you've got
over by
organised?
my bed.
You've got organised? Okay, so you've got your life organised more.
Yeah, and my closet used to, my mom could open it and practically all my stuff would fall out at her.
Yeah, okay.
And
All right.
I cleaned up my closet and there was only 5 or 6 things in there. Now there's about 7 or 8 things.
Okay.
Plus my clothes are hanging up. But I mean the things are just on the floor.
Okay. What else have you noticed? You've noticed that you've got your life organised more now.
Yeah.
What else have you noticed that tells you that you're not a kid anymore? You know, what's different?
Well, I can handle more, like in school I can handle more work and more classes.
Okay.
Like
handle-
we had this, like I think it was either the first or second day,
Yeah.
we had this one test, math test. I didn't get it done the first day, but I got it done the second day. And
Yeah.
it was for high schoolers.
Right.
And I passed it for a real high grade, but it had chemistry and biology, a few of those problems on it.
Right. Okay.
And I passed
Okay.
it.
So that's something else that you've noticed.
You know, plus that I could go
Yeah.
through 6 different classes during one
Wow.
day.
That's quite
That's
a
what we have, 6 periods.
6
And
different classes.
We only have a half an hour for lunch.
Okay. Tell me, Mike, have you noticed some of these developments in Debbie?
Yeah.
You have. Which ones have you noticed most? You know, Debbie's realised that she's not a kid anymore because she's noticed some things about herself. What have you noticed about her?
Oh, well, she basically she does keep her room clean. She has a Top Gun poster,
Yeah, yeah.
and
yeah. A Top Gun poster.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got some
Yeah,
planes in my room.
and
Have you?
All I like is the military.
and she has it's a white dresser,
Right.
and she keeps like makeup and whole bunch of odds and ends on it.
Right.
She has it's a glass bubble gum machine
Yeah.
that she has to keep in the top of the refrigerator. We just got a new refrigerator from Sears because our other one went out. We got a new one from Sears, and we had the ice maker, the automatic ice maker taken out just because
Okay, can I interrupt for a moment, Mike? These developments that you've noticed in yourself are pleasing to you, I guess. Are they pleasing to you? Mm-hmm. Okay. And are they pleasing to you, Mike, the developments that you've noticed in Debbie?
Yeah.
They are pleasing to you? Okay, all right. And what's the most pleasing development that you've noticed in terms of what's happening in Debbie's life?
Growing up.
Growing up? Okay.
Yeah.
What's it like to know that Mike finds some of the developments that he sees in your life very pleasing?
Surprising.
It's surprising to you? Is that a pleasant surprise or an unpleasant surprise?
In between.
In between?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the pleasant side of it? I mean, what's pleasant about what's the pleasant part of your surprise? Mike's, would you say you've got, would you say that pleasing sort of fits, are you admiring of some of these developments that you've noticed in Debbie?
So.
Sort of half and half. What's it like to know that Mike's half and half admiring some of these developments taking place for you?
Well, it's kind of surprising.
It's surprising to you?
Yeah, in between that and revolting a little bit.
Okay, it's in between. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think it's good to know that, that some of this is interesting to Mike? And is that good to know?
Yeah,
Why is that good to know?
because before he didn't even notice it.
The fact that he's noticing you, interested in what's happening, that's something that's good for you to know. Okay, all right. And I'd like to ask you a question about the developments that, like Mike's noticing that he's initiating more, and I think it was, I'm not sure whether it was your mum or dad that said that he's doing things at his own suggestion now. And you've noticed some of these changes in him. Which is the one that stands out most for you as being the most important?
Think of which one.
Which one? Okay, all right. Okay. Well, but it is pleasing to you, is it, to notice that Mike is initiating more? Okay. What difference do you think that is making to Mike's life?
A lot.
Yeah, yeah. Could you tell me what sort of differences you think it might make to his life?
Maybe he's kind of surprised and
Yeah.
a little bit nervous
Yeah.
and a little bit jittery. Just a bunch of basic normal stuff.
Basic normal stuff.
Yeah, just for a brother.
For a brother. Okay. All right. All right. Mike, can I ask you the question that I asked Debbie? You know, Debbie said that it was. You said it was pleasing to see some of these developments taking place in Mike's life. You know, the fact that you're doing things at your own suggestion. You're becoming your own advisor more, in a way. Would you say that's the case?
Yeah.
Becoming an advisor to yourself. What's it like for you to know that Debbie's pleased to see that you're becoming an advisor to yourself?
I don't know.
Is that? Are you positive about that? Or
Yeah.
You're positive about that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Like,
What difference do you think it makes that Debbie can see that you're becoming an advisor to yourself, and for her that's a pleasing development?
yeah.
What difference do you think that could make to your
Like-
relationship with Debbie?
Trying to think.
Do you think it could improve your relationship or cause a deterioration in it?
Improve.
Could improve it?
Yeah.
Okay, what sort of differences could that make in your
Like,
relationship with
what do
Debbie?
you mean by differences?
Well, how could it improve the relationship with Debbie?
Try to do things different. Not doing the same thing. Like, do things different.
Okay, sort of not locked into the same old, not
Bickering and stuff.
bickering. Okay, okay. So, do you have an idea that you could free this relationship from bickering? Is that the idea that you have?
Yeah.
Is that an idea that you have?
What?
That you could manage to free this relationship
Yeah.
from bickering?
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think there's a basis now for freeing this relationship from bickering?
Yeah.
You think there's a basis for that? Okay.
Start reading the Bible.
Okay. What do you think about that? I mean, because I've been talking mainly to Mike and also to Debbie, it seems like there's a basis for an improving relationship here. What do you think about that? I was asking your mum and your dad.
Oh.
Vicky, what do you think about that? Is that an idea that's a positive idea?
I think, yeah, I think it's good if they can hold it together.
You think it would be good? Okay, all right. All right. What sort of qualities do you think you'd see emerging in their relationship if, in fact, this is a basis for improvement? And
Well, maybe they wouldn't be so jealous of each other,
not so
and they
jealous of
wouldn't
each
argue
other?
as much,
Okay.
and maybe just learn to accept each other's ideas.
Okay. What are your thoughts on it?
I was thinking that it would be a good change from the way things have been before.
Right.
That
Right.
if they could follow through and build on some of the things to operate better together,
Okay.
because it would get rid of the tenseness, the tension that's around when Debbie and Mike are together. There seems to be
Tension. So it would lead to positive developments for you.
Yes.
Because I guess, Mike and Debbie, this bickering's had a terrible effect on your relationship, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you a bit annoyed about the extent to which bickering has interfered in your relationship with each other? Are you annoyed about that as well?
You might say that.
You might say that. I've got so many questions I'd like to ask, and we have so little time to do it in.
The lights are making me hot.
Yeah, they're
Thirsty.
making me hot too.
Me
I can see
too.
that you're perspiring here. Yeah, are you hot as well?
Yeah, my hands are real sweaty.
Yeah,
Yeah,
mine are a little sweaty as well. I've been noticing that.
Yeah, mine.
I didn't know whether my hands were sweaty because I was so nervous, because there's so many people watching this meeting, or whether it was the lights, but maybe it's a combination of both. Did you get nervous about this meeting?
Not really.
You didn't? Did you get nervous?
A little bit.
A little? How about the two of you?
yes.
You did?
I don't think I am as much as I thought I was going to be.
Yeah, okay, all right. So you've somehow managed to, stop the nervousness from affecting you, and you're not nervous.
Not really.
Well, you have to tell me what your secret is, Mike. Could you give me...
It's the lights are when they shine down, it's making my hands sweat. It's hot.
Could you give me coaching on keeping cool?
Water.
Could you help me understand how you manage to keep cool in these situations?
Water.
Water? No, I mean in terms of not getting
Oh.
nervous, not... could you give me some advice about how to keep cool in these sorts of situations?
What do you mean?
Well, I was pretty nervous about the situation. I could say I wasn't really all that cool, feeling all that cool about it when I came in.
That's kind of a hard question.
Well, would you think about it, and you might have an answer for me towards the end of the meeting.
Okay.
I'd just like to ask you a couple of more questions, then we're going to switch around, and my colleagues are going to come in here and we're going to get to hear what they think, okay? I just wondered whether, Mike, I understand that from what your mum and dad said, that you're doing things at your own suggestion more now. That you're seizing the initiative. Does that fit for you?
Yeah.
And
Taking the initiative.
Debbie said some things that gave me a picture of you as being an advisor to yourself. Is that right?
Yeah. I
Can I ask you a question about this? Okay. I know that you've got more to tell me about that, and I'd like to hear more about the ways in which you're becoming an advisor to yourself. But we're running a bit short of time. Do you think this means that you're becoming your own problem solver?
Yeah. So
Do you think that's the case, that you're becoming your own problem solver now?
Yeah. Solve mysteries and stuff.
Solve mysteries. Okay.
Yeah.
Because you know what? This new picture that I have of you as a person doesn't fit with this picture.
I know.
Okay? Because I've really today taken a photograph of you in my own mind that doesn't fit with this photograph. Okay? Does that make sense to you? Does that make sense to you?
Kind of.
Can you understand how this picture that I have of you as a person doesn't fit with the picture here? So I'd like just to put this behind me right now, because it doesn't fit with this new picture of you, does it?
Are you a magician?
It's okay to go over? Yeah. Okay, all right. We'll go over just a fraction.
Are
Am
you
I a magician?
Yeah. Can you like put it behind your back and
Make it disappear?
disappear? Yeah.
Well, I'd like to put it behind my back to make it disappear, but I wondered how your mum and dad would feel about that.
Yeah. Do it. It's okay if it shows us a magic trick.
How would you feel about me doing a magic trick
You know
with
how to
this?
bring it back?
Well, we could talk about that first, but How would you feel about me doing a magic trick with this picture?
Yeah, make it disappear behind your back.
Okay. I could do a magic trick with it, but I'd like you as a family to do a magic trick with it.
What do you mean by that?
Well, when we come back after I've been talking to the team, we're going to talk about how you might do a magic disappearing trick together as a family in relation to this picture. Okay. Do you think this picture fits the picture that we have of Mike today?
No.
It doesn't fit with him. Okay. What do you think, looking at this picture?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I see Mike in a different place from there.
All right. I'm going to ask one more question, then we're going to switch. Mike, I understand that your mum and dad have been concerned about the fire lighting, okay? But I also understand now that you've noticed some changes taking place for you and that you're becoming an advisor to yourself more.
Like,
And I also understand that you're able to keep your cool. Now, keeping your cool doesn't really fit with lighting fires, does it?
not really.
Not really. Okay. I just wondered whether or not
I try not to think about it as much.
you try not to think about it. as
Yeah,
much.
I mind other things like becoming a fireman and
Okay.
put out
Putting
fires.
out fires instead of lighting fires is something
Yeah.
that you become
Kind-
more interested in that?
Yeah, kind of like get a application from one of the fire department in Fairfield.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. I'd like to say that I think that Mike's idea about going on strike might be very helpful because do you think, Mike, that in a way for you to work with Debbie to improve your relationship is like going on strike? It's like refusing to cooperate with the bickering?
Yeah,
Is that like going on strike?
you might say that.
You might say that. Do you understand what I mean, Debbie? That for you and Mike to refuse to cooperate with the bickering, for you to take your relationship away from the bickering and have it for yourselves, you know, do you think there should be a relationship for the bickering or do you think it should be a relationship for the two of you?
For
Yeah.
the two of us.
For the two of you. Okay. Do you think that this is a bit like going on strike? Refusing to go along with the bickering?
Yeah.
It's a bit like that. Okay. I'd be interested to find out also a bit later in the meeting, Mike, about the ideas that you have about going on strike against the firelighting habit.
Me and my mom will both go on strike against.
This is a family that's obviously capable of protesting and going on strike. Tell me, is there a history in this family of going on strike or protesting injustice? Is that something that goes back in the family away?
No,
It's not?
no,
So it's something new, is it?
yes.
So you're really seeing something new developing in this family? Okay. All right. All right. Well, I'd be interested to know what the reflecting team think about that in a minute, because what you're saying is that for you to actually stand up and go on strike and protest is like pioneering work in this family? Okay. So do you understand that, how this is like pioneering work?
Yeah.
I understand that, Vicky, you're sort of doing some pioneering work. You're protesting through David. And I understand you're doing some pioneering work, Mike. I understand that you're doing some pioneering work. And you've got some ideas about extending that
Yeah,
and winning your relationship back with each other.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, the other questions I have that I'm not going to get to ask, but I'm going to have to share with David, is that I want to know how you did this. I want to know, Mike, how you managed to take these steps at giving yourself your own suggestions. And I want to know a little bit more about this new history of you being a problem solver. Okay.
Yeah.
I'd like to know more about how you did it. And I'd like to know more about what it reflects on you as a person, because it just doesn't fit with this old picture of you. And I'd like to know more from you also, Debbie. I'd like to know how you got into having an organised life. It's a pretty big step to take, and I guess it didn't happen overnight. Is that right?
No, it didn't. But I think that as I got a little bit older, I realized that when I get older, like 17 or about Michael's age,
18.
I'm gonna have to
Right.
keep even more organized
Oh, I
and
get
listen
it, I
to
get
more
it.
people
Okay, I
than I do now,
understand.
because when I go in the
Okay.
service, they are gonna demand that stuff,
Right.
and I
Okay.
already filled out a slip and sent it in.
Can I
so
tell you
that-
what I understand now? I asked you, well, how did you manage to get your life organised? And you've told me that it's because you've become a more forward-looking person. Is that right? Mm-hmm. So, what, are you a person that's more able to take care of your own future than you were? You are. Mm-hmm. You see, that helps me understand how you became organised.
Yeah,
I'd like to understand more about that, and maybe I could give some of my questions to David, and he might catch up with you about that. I'd also like to know a little bit more about how you've shifted from a family that was oppressed to a family that's making it their business to protest and to intervene in situations. I'm not going to find that out right now, unfortunately, because it does reflect on you as a family, and I'm not going to find out about that. I'd like the reflecting team to come in now, and there are about 6 people that are going to join us.
So
do we keep these
up
microphones on, or do we drop them? Okay, we're just going to turn around a little here. All right. Come on in. This is David. I wonder if you'd introduce yourselves as you come through. I'm David.
I'm Mike. Hi.
Hi, I'm Vicky.
Hi, I'm Debbie.
Hi, Mike. Hi, Debbie.
Hi, I'm Debbie.
Carlos Jr.
Hi. Yeah.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, my name is Debbie. Yeah, okay, please leave. All right, hi, my name is... Hi.
Oops.
You have to stay there with the mic.
Okay, now what I'd like to tell you about this is that we're going to pretend that there's a one-way mirror here between us and my friends, okay? So we're going to pretend that there's a one-way mirror there, so we can't talk to them. But we're going to pretend it's a one-way mirror, but there's audio sound coming through so we can hear. Okay? Okay, so they're going to... Okay, they're going to pretend the same thing, that they can't talk to us, so they're going to talk with each other, okay, about some of the thoughts that they've had during this meeting. We'd like you to listen carefully, because I'd be interested in your comments about this at the end of the meeting. Okay? Are you ready?
Yeah. What's that thing, that little box on the floor?
This here, this is, I'm not sure what that is, but it doesn't look too lethal, so I haven't been too worried about it. What is this little box here? It's part of the microphone. Okay.
Oh.
I was really interested in one of Michael's last comments about Debbie's being a more forward-looking person. And I was really curious, I would be curious to ask them if they were to look forward in their relationship, like when Debbie's 17 or 18 months.
Martin, could you speak up a bit, because I can't quite hear
Yeah.
you, sorry.
If Debbie and Mike were to look forward in their relationship, if they were to protest against this bickering, what might their relationship look like in 5, 6, 7 years?
I know I've seen a lot of young people whose relationships have been pretty much characterized by bickering, and I've seen them do quite a lot in a short period of time once they're able to undertake a protest. Without that, it's difficult.
I want to just take a step back from what they did, because it seemed like they were just, at the beginning, it seemed like there was all this talk about bickering and conflict, and I was really wondered how, when they both thought that there was all this conflict and bickering, they were able to really appreciate each other, because like Debbie noticed the loyalty that Mike had to his friends, and Mike noticed how Debbie was growing up, and then I think later Debbie noticed Mike was doing things in his own direction, and it seemed, I wondered how, with all this, the bickering going on, that they could notice those things, and I just started getting a real different picture than what they described about their relationship at the beginning.
I was really struck by that too, and actually one of the things I was wondering was whether they must have been doing something in secret, preparing for that, right?
Yeah.
Because each of them noticed changes in the other, and yet they didn't know that they noticed that, and each of them are growing each other up in their own minds in a sense.
But is it possible that the growing up did it? That it just is coming out of growing up, and it's just nature taking its course.
I got the impression that there was a lot more information Debbie and Mike were giving us about the ways they had appreciated each other, and the ways that they had not allowed the bickering to interfere with their relationship. I got the sense that we just really touched the surface.
You think there were more secrets?
I think that there was they have a lot more to tell us that we just haven't got the time to today to listen to. But I got the sense that they have a lot more knowledge about how they did this and how they're able to protest against the bickering.
I'm wondering if Vicky and Dan could shed some light on that. What is it that they know about their children that, or can discover about their children that could help us to understand how they've been able to hold the bickering off?
Yeah, and it seemed like Vicky had described things that she knew some things about Mike that the hospital staff didn't know. It's like they hadn't recognized some qualities that she knew about because she knew he could live not locked up. And so when she started talking about that, and then Dan joined in with other kinds of things, the chores that they'd given that indicated that they also sort of knew things about Mike that other people didn't know. So I was wondering too, was there even more of that? And what steps maybe are already going on that we don't know about yet?
And when Vicky first noticed, so I wrote down that she said that Mike is ready to get out, and I'm wondering when she first noticed that, and what were the clues that told her that he was ready to get out.
And Mike also recognized in himself that it was time for him to get out. I wrote that down too, that he said he's been there long enough, and it's time for me to get out of here. And that he knows that about himself. And I guess I was wondering, what would happen if other people knew that too? Like I'm wondering, it sounds like Vicky and Dan know a lot about Mike and his readiness to get out of there and to take more steps. And I'm wondering what would happen if other people knew that as well.
On that question, on that comment, it makes me wonder how he might let other people know that he's ready, that he's going in that direction.
Right.
Well,
and also with the parents also be wanting to let other people know too, not just him.
I mean, one sign that really struck me as really good evidence of his readiness was his concern for the well-being of other people there. And I was really moved by that, because I know people who require a lot of care don't have much energy to be caring for other people. And the nature of his thoughtfulness and towards his friends.
One of the things that really puzzles me, because Michael didn't have a lot of time to talk to the parents, but one thing that really puzzles me is how Dan and Vicky have been able to see through the history, the fire setting history and all the talk that goes on about that, to be able to see Mike the person, that somehow, Vicky notices that the professional some kind of miss, right? Yeah. And also Dan was the one that noticed that Mike was, giving suggestions to himself. And so the parents somehow can see through all that history and how it's sort of, sort of the bickering from the past, as it were. I don't know how they managed to keep their heads clear.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, when you were talking about the past, I just started thinking if they could see through all the history to know those things, I wonder if they could also see into the future. So the qualities, like what that would mean to them about the future for the family and for Mike.
And I was very interested in, near the end, Mike actually seemed to almost make a prediction about his future. Who knows if it'll come true or not, but I mean, to go from, a fire setter with a garage, and then to move to a degree of a great deal of control in rubbish bins, trash buckets, and then to go one step further and, it's not elite, it's a leap further, to start speculating about becoming a fire person and to protect other people's well-being. And I don't know, that is impossible to connect up those two events as that picture that, I mean, the next picture could be him standing beside, putting out, extinguishing a fire, rather than making a fire.
I had a similar thought, because one of the things that struck me about Mike was how he's managed to handle the heat. From all the talk about fire setting, to be able to see himself in the future, to be able to be an expert in putting out fires. I mean, that takes a lot of heat to be able to handle that.
I wonder what difference also it would make to Mike's relationship with Vicki and Dan, if they began to see him that way, as someone who could put out fires, who could take care of others, and take care of himself in new ways. What difference would it make to you?
I'd be really interested to know, I really feel very keen interest in asking Vicki and Dan what the future would look like if that picture could be put behind them. And, you know, I really think that they might come up with some really interesting ideas about putting that picture behind them and having a new picture for the future. I'm really interested to know what that picture would look like in the future.
It's a bad pun, but the thing that immediately sprung to my mind was that they could rekindle a relationship. I dare not say it, but I did. But that's the word that came to mind, but I guess all this talk of fire, this does it to me.
But if they could build, I wonder if some ways they could build a fire putting out reputation, or reputation for putting out fires.
Yeah.
Somehow, like putting out this bickering fire.
Well, I guess
Get a fire extinguisher.
I guess in a way they've started that in a way because, like when you put out a fire, you're making a protest against it. You know, you're throwing water on it, putting it out, and I think they've started that. I mean, I don't know, but I just have a strong sense that they've had some practice in protesting, and that they're really they're starting to put out fires. Some time ago, and
And so the talk about protesting that Mike was talking about at the beginning, going on strike, is maybe even more practice for other kinds of protesting that against some of the other problems that had been in the past. Protesting against the old picture, moving into the new one.
But I saw a little bit of protest here today when they seemed, the two of them near the end, and I was really struck by it. They're really protesting about the way the bickering had really got in the way of their developing some sort of rewarding brother-sister relationship.
And I thought that the Mike's loyalty, particularly, and Debbie's organization together would be a really nice way to sort of ganging up on the conflict, protesting against it. It seemed like those qualities would just be perfect in doing that.
Okay, we're going to have to stop, folks. I really.
Are you sure?
I really have to.
Come on. We have a lot more to say.
I could say that.
Well, we have to stop for another reason. Obviously, Americans don't need to pay as much as Australians do. And I reckon I can just make it through this. If you hang around too much longer, then I'm not going to make it. But I really did enjoy that and would like to hear more of it. But we will have to stop there. And I'm just going to talk with family about what they thought about some of the comments that you had. So thanks a lot for coming in.
Mike, I know where they picked up some of those words. They're listening in our conversation over there.
Yeah.
Listening in.
Yes, that's right. They were listening to our conversation, yeah.
Bye.
Thanks
See
a
you.
lot for having us.
Bye.
You too, brother. See you.
Yeah. Bye.
I forgot your name, Carl.
Yeah. Bye. Good luck.
That could go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
You got to come over and join me, Mike.
Oh.
You want to come?
I get this.
Okay. Are we okay here? Sounds like they were pretty interested in what they heard today, and they made a lot of comments here. I was busy writing some of them down. They made so many that I couldn't get them all down.
David.
I'll take that back with me when I go.
Mike.
Your back was to us.
Oh, right. Okay. We couldn't have that.
Yeah.
Mike, is it okay if I get some water? It's kind of.
Yeah. Could we have some water? Would you all like a glass of water?
Could I take a
I'd like to have about.
No, we're only going to be a little bit long. We'll only be 10 minutes, okay? Would you all like a drink of water?
Yeah.
I'd like to have about.
I didn't risk having another glass of water. That
I'd
would
like
be-
to have about 3 glasses of water.
You'd like 3 glasses
need
of water?
3.
Okay.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
How about you, Dave?
I'm fine. I can.
Mike,
hang on.
is this a San Francisco water?
I guess it is. I don't really know where it came from, but I guess it's from San Francisco.
David, did you take the BART too?
No, I drove down.
Oh, really?
David, how'd you make it down here without fighting the traffic?
Oh, the traffic was pretty clear today.
We had to fight it going through Concord, wasn't it?
Mike, you have your 3 glasses of water by the sound of it, by the look of things here. Okay, how's that?
Yeah.
All right, was that interesting to listen to what my friends had to say?
Yeah.
What was interesting about that to you? Were there any comments that you thought were particularly interesting?
I like when they were saying that word that they heard bickering. They were listening to our conversation.
Yeah. What did you think about what they were saying about you and Debbie?
It sounded kind of interesting.
It sounded interesting. Okay, because they were talking a little bit about how you and Debbie today had taken some steps to get your life away from getting your relationship away from bickering. Does that sound interesting?
Yeah, do things different.
It's different, for sure. How did you find it, Debbie? Were you interested in what my friends had to say?
Yeah.
Can you recall anything that particularly interested you?
One of my worst.
Yeah, don't worry about it, Mike. Don't worry about it. But that's, if there was a fire there, you would have put it out, so that's fine. Okay.
Is there something underneath the rug that'll soak it up or what?
Yeah, someone will soak that up later. They'll take care of it. Obviously, Mike's really very responsible here. He's, you know, that's is that a new development in Mike? Mike noticed that he spilled some water here, and he's now, you know, taking care.
No, it's happened before.
It's happened before. Okay, all right. Which of those comments interested you? Can you remember any particular comment that interested you more than the others?
About them talking about they noticed me talking about growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Was that helpful that they noticed that you were growing up? Was that helpful?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And was
I
it
wish
helpful?
more people were like that.
Pardon?
I wish more people were like that.
What difference would it make if more people were like that?
Probably be better.
Be better, would it? Okay. I guess they really noticed that you were sort of taking charge of your own future, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mike, can I get some more water?
More water? Can we have more water? Okay. What about Dan and Vicky? Do you have any comments on what my friend said? Anything in particular stand out for you?
I don't recall anything specific, just the things in general that they had noticed, or about what had been said.
Was that helpful?
Yes, it was helpful.
It was helpful.
Yeah.
What was it helpful that other people who have been an audience here can appreciate these developments? Was that helpful?
Yes.
Okay. How do you think that's helpful? How do you think that sort of thing could be helpful?
Well, it means that other people are interested in what happens in families or in situations.
Okay. And is that confirming for you, or is it?
Yes,
it's
yes, it
confirming
is.
for you. Okay. Yeah. Well, how about you, Vicky?
Well, there was one comment that I kind of, I was really interested in.
Yeah.
It kind of struck me as it was talking about how Dan and Vicky, they can see through these things and how their future might be for them.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, boy, I wished I had the answers.
Yeah. How did you feel in relation to this comment about a new future or new possibilities for the future?
Well, I know we need changes, things like that.
Okay.
But, I mean, I wished I could see into the future.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately you can't do that, but it does seem that it's possible for some people to take charge of their future, and I have a sense that, you mentioned that you don't come from a family with a tradition of protest, but I have a sense that you are taking charge of your future more so. That's the sense that I have, and I see that that fits with you, Dan, and I understand it fits with you too in some ways. I know it's true for Michael and Debbie. They've made that very clear. I'd be interested to know more about your thoughts about what my colleague said, but we're pushing a bit of a deadline here, and I'd just like to ask a couple more questions and make a couple of comments. Okay. Debbie, you know, today we've explored lots of new possibilities, and I've heard about how it's now possible for you and your brother to win your relationship back from this bickering. Okay. And I wondered whether or not this has affected your picture of your brother at all. You know, to notice these things in him, and has it affected your picture of him?
No.
It hasn't? Maybe I could ask the question in a different way. Does the picture that we have of Mike here today fit with this, or is it a different picture of him?
Doesn't really fit with that.
Pardon?
Doesn't fit with that.
Doesn't fit with this. Okay, all right. Do you know something, did you learn something about him today that was helpful for you to know?
No, not really.
You didn't? Okay, all right. I was going to ask the same sorts of questions for you, Mike, but I'm not going to. I'm going to maybe have a bit of a chat to David after the meeting. Would you be happy if David, if I gave David some other questions that I was interested in and that he could come back for you? Because I'm also a bit worried that you've been here for a long time, and I think it's been very...
What time is it?
Well, it's now 7 minutes to 5.
Oh.
So I know it's been very fatiguing for you, because you were here some time before the interview started too.
Yes.
And,
We got here kind of early, wasn't it?
What time did you get here?
We got here about, what?
3 o'clock.
2, wasn't it?
True.
2 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So that's quite a long time.
About 3 hours.
All right. So I'm going to limit my comments at the end of this meeting here. Some of the notes that I've written down I'll give to David, and David might have them typed up and sent to you. Would that be okay?
Yeah.
Could we maybe put some of these notes together and send them to the family? To reflect my friends might like to be involved in that too. Would you like a letter from us?
Yeah.
That is a bit like a summary of today's meeting. Would that be helpful to you?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That would be helpful.
Could you have it written on a letter on blue paper?
On blue paper?
Yeah.
Okay. Can we organise blue paper?
We could handle blue paper.
Okay.
Could you have the rest of it in pink?
You'd like pink? You'd like blue?
Yeah.
What colour would you like, Vicky? Would you write this down?
I think kind of a golden-red color or yellow.
Golden or yellow? Okay. What about you, Dan?
Just standard white paper.
Okay. Dan's into standard white paper. Do you have all that?
I got it all down, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Can I make a comment about this team? I felt very comfortable with all of them here.
You felt comfortable with them here? Okay.
They were nice.
All right.
Mike, you know I'm
Did
going...
you find them comforting in any way? As well?
Just their different comments.
Just their different comments. Okay.
I was very impressed with, all of the things they were able to come up with.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Mike,
No, Mike, I have to stop, unfortunately. So I'd just like to make a comment about this picture. One of my colleagues, one of my friends mentioned something that triggered off a thought in me. They were saying something about how you didn't accept this picture that other people had of your son. You saw through it. Is that correct? You saw through it. Now, this picture of Mike didn't blind you, did it?
No.
You didn't allow this picture of Mike to blind you. No. And I wondered what steps you could take to organise for other people to get this new picture of Mike. And that's something that I think David might talk with you about. Okay. Would you be interested in talking? Would it be helpful if some other people around the place were put in touch with this new picture of Mike?
Yes.
Would that be helpful?
Yes.
Okay, because you didn't allow this picture to blind you, but it seems like this picture is blinding some other people to Mike and his qualities.
Yes.
Okay, all right. And I also had some other thoughts, David, that might be worth following up a bit. No, look, if I do that, we'll go for another hour, and we just can't do that. I just wondered what sort of magical thing we could do with this picture, what you could do as a family that would be sort of like magical and be helpful in relation to making sure that this picture stays in the shadow of the new picture. And what could we do that might help this picture fade
I got an idea.
in the radiance of this new picture?
I got an idea.
Yeah, what's your idea?
How about thrash that picture?
Have a what?
Thrash it.
What
You
does
know,
that
like
mean?
put it through a shredding machine,
Through a shredding machine.
or throw it away secretly, or burn it secretly.
Burning it secretly?
No,
What ideas do you have?
Like, take it to a, you know, in those camera shops?
Yeah.
Like the, you know, a Fox, it's a Photoshop in the mall. Take it to the mall and have it cut out so
Okay,
it no
all right.
longer exists.
What about the two of you? What sorts of ideas do you have about making sure that this picture fades and the brilliance of this new picture?
Just either throw it in the trash or put it in the back of the photo album or something,
Okay.
just so it doesn't
What ideas do
get
you
that
have?
much view.
Well, mine isn't very practical, but I would say move out of the neighborhood because that's right on the other end of the street from us.
Okay, that's still there, is it? No,
Yeah.
but I mean in relation to this picture here. Yeah.
Yeah, it's you know, the garage is built back up
Yeah.
and things
Yeah,
like
they
that.
have it.
But
What,
it's
what about in relation to this picture? Look, I'm going to stop asking questions. What I'm going to suggest is that you get together and you work out a good idea for making sure that this picture fades away. And that David Epstein was here from New Zealand, and he's quite well known for the celebrations that he has with the families that he sees. And if this was David Epstein, he would join you in a celebration, and he'd probably bake a cake and bring the cake along, and there'd be some ritual in which something was done to make sure that this picture faded away. And in this celebration, Mike would be his job to put other people in touch with a new picture of himself as a person. Okay? So Mike would have to put together this new story about him as a person, maybe with David's help. So if this was David Epstein, you might be having a celebration with him, and he might bake a cake, and Mike might have some things to say about this old picture of himself and how it's different from the new picture of himself as a person. Now, would you like to do something like that?
It's based.
Would you like to join with that, David?
I would love to do that.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
It's not this.
This is a different David, okay, but I'm sure that this David might be interested in doing the sort of things that the other David's interested in. We're going to stop right there. I'll be interested to hear back from David about how things go from here, because I'd like to know what steps Mike and Debbie take to win their relationship back from bickering, okay? Because you've got some ideas here, and I'd like to see how you follow them up. And we'll mention some of them in the letter. You've already got some ideas, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, don't share them here. Share them with David, okay? Because understand that this idea about going on strike is something that could be helpful.
It was me and my mom's idea to go on a strike against the hospital.
All right.
It wasn't me.
Actually, it's my idea, and then my mom said,
All right.
yes, we should try.
We have to stop there. I really enjoyed meeting with you.
Can we unplug these now?
Just in just a moment. I'm sorry that I'm not going to see you next time, because I've got really interested in you, and I'd like to hear what happens between now and the next time that you meet with David. So do you mind if David writes a letter to me with some information, and could you tell him what you'd like to tell me? Would that be okay, David?
Sure.
Okay, and I'll write back to you. How does that sound?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Cookies
Can I
now?
give you this? Who's the guardian of this? You're the guardian?